Casey, welcome back. Great to see you again.
Great to be here again.
Now, you have been bringing us fabulous music every week from Wilde Records.
I have.
But in addition, you are a singer-songwriter in your own right.
That is true.
Tell me how you got started.
Well, I had no one musical in my family. And I think I was about 11, and I saw on TV the Elvis comeback special. It's obviously a rerun. And I asked my mum, I'd like to learn the guitar. And she said, cool. So I started learning. I had lessons for a couple of years, and then I probably put it away, and it wasn't until probably third form at college when I was sitting on the beach and I noticed a guy playing guitar and all the girls were hanging around. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I can play guitar and sing. So I sort of took it back up again, and it sort of sprung from there, playing guitar on the beach, and that's where I met one of my best friends, Aaron, who was on the show earlier, on one of the earlier episodes. And people kept saying, you guys should form a band. And that's pretty much where it happened.
So you formed a band, and how did your first gig go?
Well, our very first gig was in Parnell at a place called the Memphis Bar. And I remember it was like a restaurant, and we had these guitar amps. We didn't have a proper PA system. And the first set, there was just people quietly eating their dinner. And I was like, I didn't want to be a restaurant band.
You wanted to rock out.
So during our first break, we decided to walk up, Parnell Rise, the main street, and tell everyone in all the bars that there's this awesome band down the street and they should check them out. We didn't let them on that it was us. And then by the second set, the bar was full. The whole place was full. And, they were yelling for more, and we were playing, and they were having a great time. And that's when we realized we don't really have our guitar amps weren't going to cut it across the noise of the crowd. So we happened to be saving for a boat at the time, and we ended up taking our money out of our bank account for the boat, and we bought a PA system, and the rest of it is history. The band just started from there.
And so tell me, you played famous venues like the Glue Pot. Tell me how that came about.
Well, pretty much ever since our first ever gig on Parnell Rise, I would ring up Michael, I won't say his last name, but he was the manager of the Glue Pot, and I would ring him up every day. I pretty much rang him up every day for about 3 months and telling him where we're playing and saying we want to play the Glue Pot. And he kept saying, I don't know if you guys are ready yet. And he was asking, how long has the band been together? And I said, a couple of weeks, 3. Yeah, but we're ready for the Glue Pot, because I knew if you play at the Glue Pot, that was the best venue in New Zealand. And if you play at the Glue Pot, you could play anywhere. So I think about 3 months after ringing him up every day, I think I might have left him alone on Sundays.
The guy was sick of you by now.
And I think one day I rang him, and he said, all right, I'll give you a gig, but if you promise not to ring me for a week. So he gave us a gig. It was a Wednesday night, and we were pretty nervous. My first band was called Acoustic Attitude. We were a 4-piece then, and we got all of our friends. We put up posters and flyers, and we packed the place out on a Wednesday night, and we performed the best we could. And I remember at the end of that gig thinking, well, if he doesn't like us, he doesn't like us, because we did the best. And he came up at the end of the gig, and he looked at me, and he shook his head, and he said, you'll never play the Glue Pot again. And my heart just sank. And he had his hands behind his back, and he said, on a Wednesday night. And he pulled out his diary, and he said, from now on, it's Fridays and Saturdays. And he booked about 5 or 6 gigs right there and then.
Very cool, very cool. So what do you put that down to? Is it beginner's luck? Is it guts? Is it, what is it?
I tell every musician that comes into my studio, talent, there's definitely a level of talent, but it's all about persistence. Yeah. If you know the story of Elvis, it's all about persistence. He bugged Sam Phillips for over a year before he got a record deal. So.
And that's true of anything, whether it's music, whether it's business, it's all about persistence.
It takes a little bit of talent, but it's really about persistence. And if you want it bad enough, that's what I tell people.
So what advice would you give young musicians coming through?
The best advice, I'm a songwriter. So the best advice to me is it's all about the song as far as I'm concerned. Write good songs, spend time crafting your songs. And then it's about persistence and self-belief and just going out there, and there's no other option than just going out there and believing in yourself with your songs. Get a band, practice, and just keep doing it.
But so many musicians will not want to take the risk. They need to get a job, pay the bills, all that kind of stuff. What would you say to them?
That is, what would I say to them? Well, I learned a very valuable lesson when I met John Mellencamp. I met John at his recording studio in a little place just outside of Bloomington, Indiana. And he had built his own recording studio. And he actually gave me the advice of building your own studio. And he said he didn't want to have record companies, telling him how much he can spend on a record and stifling his creativity. And I had a little issue with a record label saying there wasn't enough money to do the record the way I wanted to do it. So I decided that I wanted to be in control of my music. And I basically bought my first house just to build the studio. And I had to sort of trick my unconscious mind to say, I'm buying this house, which is not really what I wanted to do as a musician. But then right next to the house was this 2 garages joined together, and I knew I could turn that into an awesome recording studio.
So you modelled your studio off John Mellencamp's studio? Yeah,
pretty much. Like Dave Grohl, he had a studio by his house. Lots of these guys did.
So a great number of the artists that you're recording with have been on the TV show, which is awesome. Now, you're looking for talent for next season.
We're always looking for new talent in the studio. So anyone that wants to come in, give me a call, send me an email, and we'll hook you up. I got some great session musicians. You can come, we can build a whole band around your sound. And
right, so you don't even need to have your own band. You can just come in as a solo and have those guys work with you.
Yeah, we do that a lot for people, yeah.
And we're putting together a compilation CD from the series.
Yep, a lot of the artists that have been on this show, we're going to put either 1 or 2 songs on a compilation CD, and hopefully it'll be out before Christmas.
Awesome, so great Christmas present for everyone. Don't forget to order your compilation CD. And any other advice for singer-songwriters? Yeah,
a big piece of advice that I would say is you can't be creative when you're broke and you're constantly worrying about how to put food on the table. Yeah. And quite a few years back, after I bought my first house, my accountant said to me, well, you're making too much money now. You should probably buy an investment property to offset the money that you're making. It was an LAQC, it was called back then. So I bought an investment property, and now after each year I managed to save a little bit more money and buy another property. We've actually got 20 properties now. Wow. And in 3 different countries, and they create a great return for us. And it's amazing, when I stopped worrying about where the money's going to come from, I started making more money out of my music. And it's important to make a living doing what you love. So.
Jesse, now, who is on the show today?
Well, today, funnily enough, it's me and my band, Jesse Wilde and The Drive.
And anyone else?
Yes, we're going to have a very special guest on bass.
So, Jesse, what song are we performing?
We're performing a song I wrote called Fallen. And I wrote this song about a girl who I met in Fiji. And 2 days after I met her, I wrote the song. Because when you know, you know. And not long afterwards, we got married.
Oh, we all love a good love story, don't we?
So yeah, it's available on iTunes. Look up Jesse Wilde. And
great, thanks, Jesse. And my thanks to all my special guests, to Janine and Carmel from today, and to all my guests all season long, and the fantastic artists who will be on the compilation CD. We'll be back next season in the new year. And don't forget, in the meantime, to connect to us on Facebook. And as Jesse says, we are always looking for new talent. Now, I am going to get ready to play bass, and we are going to rock you out. And until next season, don't wait to wake up your wow.